Very important to highlight that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as we mentioned in the previous show, that 9/10 of all income goes to business people. And you know, as I mentioned before, it used to boggle my mind. Why 9/10? What about everybody else? All these government employees and employees. And you know, being in business now, I realize, because when you're in business and you leave in the morning, you know that your risk, the providing, is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're never sure where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Right? Whether you're a Muslim or a non-Muslim, there's nobody who is truly in business and say, I know where it's coming from. However, when you're an employee, you look at your salary and you think this is it, and you can plan your life for the next 10 years, which once I sat with somebody and he said, this is my salary, I have a job for life, and he's planning his life and how much he's making, and yes, I get in my job 3% raise a year. And so you are thinking it's a job that's providing rather than it's coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why, you know, you want to be successful, you want to think and be rich. I should read that book because I'd like to be rich. You know, you have to try to get in business and, you know, rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make you successful. What's your thoughts?
For sure. I mean, at the same time, like, some people do enjoy being complacent. It leads a limited
And business
lifestyle.
is not for everybody, by the way.
Exactly, exactly. Like, I should never fool anybody to think that everyone can do it. It is a select few, as you said, 9 out of the 10 people cannot do it, right? So the thing is, like, as youth, we need to ensure that, you know, they actually test it out to see if it's for them or not. You know, some people can't be doctors, some people can't be, you know, accountants, some people just can't be entrepreneurs and business people. And as a result, we need to be able to allow them that opportunity to at least test it out.
Yes, and that's the thing. How do we encourage young people? Try, don't be afraid of failure. And, you know, life is to succeed, as we seen with Edison when he failed how many times to invent the light. He says, now I know there's 999 ways not to succeed. And you keep persistence to know to say the next one. And this is the thing, so you would never be afraid of failure.
On the flip side, though, you know, there is that point of no return where sometimes just being persistent all the time may not be the best thing.
Well, I think you need to have the ability to look back and sometimes make some minor adjustments. It's like if you want to you know, get into your car and you want to drive to Montreal and you start heading towards Vancouver. Eventually, as persistent as you are, you're not going to get there unless you turn around and reevaluate your situation.
Maybe we should differentiate between persistence and stubbornness. Stubbornness meaning you keep doing the same thing. Persistence meaning you know what you did wrong and you improve on it. You don't give up. So persistence is not giving up, but not being stubborn. And yes, a lot of business fails because the leader is stubborn and doesn't want to realize the mistakes and fix these mistakes.
I think it's also important to develop your personal skills, because if let's say if you're, for example, working as an accountant and you're employed by someone, but then all of a sudden you get this bright idea that I could make more money being a consultant. Now, if you don't go and develop your sales skills, your marketing skills, your interpersonal skills, and all those sorts of things, chance you're not going to make it as
But how do you develop them? It's easy to say go and develop them. What's your thoughts? How do we develop these skills, which we agree they're all important?
Yeah, definitely. I would say get involved in something that involves a team and working on a project, whether it be a small project, whether you have a lemonade stand that you want to, you know, you've got one person bringing the customers, one person managing the money, one person...
The problem with this is the young kids started and then they want us parents to do it.
Exactly. It's like the newspaper route. Everyone starts one and then mom and dad's the one that's finishing it.
But I think definitely being involved, I mean, like in the community, working on different projects, you get that sense of understanding where your strengths lie and, you know, whether this is for you or not, and how to build that team spirit.
And maybe one of the other things is really to be part of a non-profit organization where you're still running a business, but you're part of a team. And I'm sure those who are involved in charities and things like that realize how tough it is. Ideas seems easy, but when you go to raise money or to sell the ideas to others, you find it's blocked. So, you know, one of the things is be part of charities, volunteer, and encourage young people to volunteer and do things to see and understand.
I did want to actually go back to what you said about people being in business. There was a recent publication where the richest people, you know, 90-something% of them were business owners. So if you are thinking of financial stability, that is the way to go. And why? Because, it's good for your country, it's good for your community, it's good for your family, it's good for you personally. I mean, this is what it's all about, increasing that financial stability.
But there's a lot of challenges that are part of that. And how do you recognize those challenges, though?
But maybe one of the points we have to point young people to, as it tells us in Islam, the risk is fixed. Fixed meaning what you will get, you will get. So knowing this, you can go in confidence with business, knowing that Allah will provide and help you. And one of the important things, hadith I read, is it says that when two people want to go in a partnership, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala joins as their partner and helps them to succeed. However, usually what happens in a partnership is they disagree and they start fighting, each one saying, I did more, I deserve more. And then that's when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala leaves this partnership and the shaitan steps in and says, now I'm your partner, which is really brings it. And we've seen that so many times where, two or three people come in a partnership and it succeeds. And then after it succeeds, it fails. And it fails because they lose this feeling of helping each other and true feeling of partnership where each one has a role and we share the outcome where each one thinks it's mine and I should get the big part of it.
There is one thing. I mean, Islam sets very specific boundaries on how we need to communicate, how we need to interact, how we need to exchange money. I mean, financial transactions being in the presence of other people so that there are witnesses.
Well, rather than boundaries, because Islam is flexible, maybe we should use the word guidelines.
Guidelines.
It has guidelines because it is flexible and it encourages us. So it gives us the guidelines, which is really guidelines to protect us all, to realize, we are human and we do mistakes and so it's protection.
Yeah.
One last thoughts?
I actually have a final thought. He did mention the competition for the youth being 14 to 18. I didn't get a chance to say that the professional competition is from age groups 19 to 35. And the deadline to register is June 30th.
But isn't that a big thing, 19 to 35?
Well, we have actually subdivided it. So there is a students segment up to 24 and then the 25 onwards.
And what's the prizes, or is it a surprise?
Cash prizes.
I'd love to.
Up to $5,000 and there could be more.
Maybe I should say I'm younger. We've run out of time. It's a great topic. Inshallah, maybe we'll catch on in the future. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.